use OBS at all? Why use OBS? Why not just use straight zoom? First of all, it's the ability to create multiple scenes. And it's not just the ability to create multiple scenes as it is the ability to switch quickly between them. So, for example, I know that you think that what I have behind me is really just a TV on a gray wall. But in fact, it's not. I am in my living room. Well, actually, I'm not in my living room. I'm in the Millennium Falcon. Or to be more accurate, I'm right now sitting in my most natural position, which is in the front seat of an FA-18C. You could see how quickly I switched between those scenes. In fact, all of those scenes had the same camera, used the same camera, a DSLR that's standing right in front of me, but I can even switch to have multiple cameras. Okay, this camera is not set very well, but I can switch a lot of things with OBS a lot more easily than I do it with Zoom. So first of all, it's creating multiple scenes. There's only one scene in Zoom, and it is whatever you programmed it to be. It's using multiple cameras, multiple angles. So one thing that you'll see at some point, I'll show you how I even use my iPhone as a camera.
Hey, it's Jen with another Tech Tips 411 tutorial. Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite tools for engaging learners both virtually and in a hybrid learning setting. Whiteboard chat has been around for a while, and I created a video a while ago So the first thing you're going to want to do to be able to create a virtual camera using OBS is you're going to want to download OBS at obsproject.com. So I'm going to put the link in the description. So you're going to download that first. And notice you have the option to download the Windows, Mac, or Linux version. So I'm going to focus on the Windows version of this today. You can also download and install it and tweak it to use it as a virtual camera on Mac as well. But right now we're going to focus on the Windows. I will put the links in the description if you would like to download the resources for Mac as well. So you're going to go ahead and download and install that. The other thing you're going to want to download and install is this link right here, this virtual camera option right here. So you're going to see this installer. I'll put the link in the description as well. And then now I'm going to show you how to set up those scenes inside of OBS to get a really cool look for your virtual camera options in Google Meet, Zoom, as well as Microsoft Teams or any video conferencing software as well. The other thing I use this for is for StreamYard. This is how I can make it a really cool look for my live streams and be able to do some camera switching and do some other really cool stuff. So we've now downloaded OBS, and I want to go in here and I want to set up some scenes. And the scenes are what you're going to do to set up your virtual camera. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've renamed this. This is Tech Tips 411. It's going to just say scene for you. You can right click on it and you can rename it, or you can just leave it called scene and then add another one, scene 2, and so forth. So I actually have a number of scenes set up here, which I'm going to hop over here real quick and show you guys. Notice I've got all these different scenes, things that I want to be able to do. So that's what's really cool about using OBS, is that I can set up different scenes and different effects that I want to happen inside of OBS and then be exported as my virtual camera. So let me hop back over here to our demo scenes and let's set them up. You're going to add in your video camera. So I'm going to hit plus, and depending on what you're using, you can do a video capture device. It's going to be able to pull up your webcam if you have an external webcam or one that's built in. I'm going to use iOS camera. And as you can see, I've added in my camera here, and I'm going to click OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this out so it fits in the entire frame. And you'll notice I've got a green screen behind me, and I want to be able to use the green screen effect. All I have to do is hit right click and click on filters. And I'm going to add a filter that says chroma key. And when I do that, it's going to automatically remove that background back there. And it did a pretty good job. So I'm going to click close, and it took out all the green that's behind me. And this is a pretty cool option to use the green screen effect if you want to do that. Not required, but it's something that I like. Pretty good, right? So now I'm going to go in and add a couple other elements. So I'm going to hit this plus, and I want to add in my background. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to upload an image, and I'm just going to call this on background. Click OK, and it's going to ask me to find it. And I've got a resource folder that I've got all sorts of different things here on my desktop. So I've already got my OBS streaming resources. So as you can see, I can add in a background, and it can be a video background or it could be a still background. And in this case, it's going to put this in, and I want this to be my still background. I'm going to drag that image. It needs to be below the camera. So now I've got a background back there. It's kind of cool, right? So next up, I want to add in some other elements just to kind of add to this. So what I want to do next is I want to maybe add in my logo. So we're going to browse in that same folder. Let's go back one here. And you'll notice I've got several different things I've saved. So I want to put my Tech Tips 411 logo on there. I can move it around. I can move me around. Here's the thing. These locks come in really handy. So if I lock that down, I can move this. Once I click on it, there we go. I can move it over here. How are we looking so far? Pretty cool, right? So I can add in all the elements that I want. I can put in overlays. I can say, hey, I want this to be here. I could add in a Genmoji. So let's do that really quick. I'm going to name these sources whatever I want so I can find them. So there's Genmoji. Click OK. And Genmoji can hang out there with me. So as you can see, I can add several different layers to this. And then I'm also going to add in that really cool animated background. So if you want to have the ability to have this animated border around your layout of your webcam, you can add it by creating an animated gradient border. So I'm going to put the link in the description so you can take this and create it. So you'll notice you can have it as a rectangle or as a circle. You can change the width and the height. If you need to, don't really worry about those, but really you're going to focus on whether you want two-tone, fade to white, black, or rainbow. And I like the rainbow option as well. The one that I have right now is actually a two-tone color, which is my Tech Tips 411 colors. So what I'm going to do here is I figure the one that I want, and then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to choose to get a URL. And I copy that URL, it's going to give me this. So you're going to want to copy that and you're going to paste it in to your OBS Studio once you get it set up to add it to your scene. So I'm going to put the link in the description for you to grab this. It's a design option and it just looks really, really, really cool inside of your OBS Studio scenes. So you saw how I made the animated logo border that goes around, and I've saved that link. So now I'm going to go ahead and add it. So I'm going to hit that plus, and I'm going to choose to use a browser link. And I'm going to call this animated. Again, name them whatever you want, and I'm going to say animated border. Click OK, and I'm going to paste that link in. Click OK. And notice I'm going to write, I need to move this around. So we're going to move Genmoji over here and we're going to lock her so she doesn't move. So anything I don't want to go anywhere, I'm going to lock it, hit those locks. That means I'm not going to accidentally click on it and move it. So notice I've got this file here. This is not big enough by any means. So the trick is here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this. Notice it's red, and I'm going to select the Alt key, and I'm going to drag this up here and over here a little bit more, bring it in. Close as I can get it. Okay. Now I'm going to drag these corners. Drag it from the corner and drag it all the way around so that it fits. So see how these gray bars just popped up? That's telling me that that's going to be outside the viewable frame, and that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to, there we go. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to leave it like that. And again, if I want to lock it so it doesn't go anywhere, I can do that. So this is how I've set up my scene with a couple of different elements to make this interesting. Now, once I've got it the way I want it, I'm going to turn on that virtual camera. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to choose tools, and I'm going to say virtual camera, and I'm going to make sure I've hit start. Now you can automatically have it auto start, that as soon as you open OBS, it knows to turn on that virtual camera. I don't think that it just depends on you. I don't have it auto start because not every time I turn on OBS am I actually using it all the way around so that it fits. So see how these gray bars just popped up? That's telling me that that's going to be outside the viewable frame, and that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to, there we go. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to leave it like that. And again, if I want to lock it so it doesn't go anywhere, I can do that. So this is how I've set up my scene with a couple of different elements to make this interesting. Now, once I've got it the way I want it, I'm going to turn on that virtual camera. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to choose tools, and I'm going to say virtual camera, and I'm going to make sure I've hit start. Now you can automatically have it auto start, that as soon as you open OBS, it knows to turn on that virtual camera. I don't think that it just depends on you. I don't have it auto start because not every time I turn on OBS am I actually using it as a virtual camera. Most of the time, yes, but I also use it for recording as well. So you can turn that on or off, but I'm going to go ahead and now it's a virtual camera. So now I've opened up Zoom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the settings option. There we go. And I'm going to go to video, and you can see that this is what's showing through. This is what people are going to see when they look at me on a Zoom call. So what I've done is the camera is OBS. By default, this is my Logitech webcam, and this is the EOS webcam. This goes to my Canon camera if I want to use that as my camera. But if I turn it to OBS camera, it's bringing that in. Whatever I've set up in OBS is being pushed out, and that's what people are going to see. How cool is that? So several steps to it. Remember, you're going to download OBS. You're going to set up the scene with whatever you want. If you want to add this really cool animated border, I'm going to put the link in the description for that. You bring it in as a browser source. You can add in any video elements you want. This could be a video element in the back, or it could be an image in the back. You choose how you want this to look, but this is how you can really kind of level up your Google Meets, your Microsoft Teams, your Zoom calls, whatever kind of virtual conference stuff that you're doing is how you level it up doing this. If you thought this was beneficial, please give this video a thumbs up and a like. Tell me what you thought about it and if you're going to give it a try. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so, because I'd love to hear other things that you'd like for me to give you tips and tricks about. And so this is how you level up your Google Meets and your Zoom calls and your Microsoft Team calls with your learners. So let me know if you have any questions. So thanks so much for watching. Welcome to Let's Get Zooming. We're going to talk about Zoom.